NOMA brings their concerns for the North to the AMO conference. Good evening, I'm Haley Perot. Thank you for joining us. Highway safety, immigration, and post-secondary education were the top priorities from the Northwestern Ontario Municipal Association this week as they met with provincial ministers in Ottawa. NOMA President Rick Dumas stopped by TBT News today to talk about the issues they highlighted.
We have continuing amounts of deaths on our highways, and we have 2 lanes in a lot of places, and a lot of blind spots, sharp corners, hills, and we got wildlife to contend with.
NOMA officials met with Transportation Minister Pradmeet Sarkaria at the 2025 AMO conference. They talked about expanding the 2+1 lane highway model, increasing traffic enforcement and stop checks, and getting weigh scales more readily available. NOMA also asked for input into highway planning and design, which Dumas says the minister committed to look into. The push for skills training and immigration to support the region's workforce was another key priority.
In small northern rural communities of northwestern Ontario, I represent 37. If you don't have the Lily's restaurant open because you can't get staff, or the corner store or the service station because you can't get staff, you need to have those facilities serviced by having employees available, and maybe some of those employees are coming through immigration.
Creating pathways to immigration in places outside Thunder Bay is crucial, said Dumas, as is ensuring long-term funding stability for Confederation College, particularly its stay and learn programs throughout the region. Officials with the City of Thunder Bay will address their AMO discussions tomorrow. Natural gas service is gradually being restored to Enbridge customers in the Northside neighborhood after a gas line was accidentally ruptured at around 11 o'clock yesterday morning. The company says the incident resulted in a loss of natural gas service to around 580 customers. It happened at the intersection of High Street North and Dawson Street, where the road and sidewalks have been dug up for reconstruction. Earlier today, Enbridge crews managed to complete their repairs to the pipeline that was damaged. A company spokesperson says that clears the way for service to be restored, but Enbridge staff must enter each home to restart the flow of gas. Workers were going door to door throughout the day and will continue tomorrow until all customers are reconnected. The City of Thunder Bay is looking for input from local citizens to help shape its next community safety and well-being plan. A series of pop-up engagement events will take place in August and September to give community members the chance to share ideas. The first one was held today in front of City Hall. Jessica Clement has the story.
Over the next 5 months, the city will be asking residents what's working, what needs to change, and how Thunder Bay can become safer, healthier, and more connected. This feedback will be used to help build the next 5-year community safety and well-being plan.
It's a legislated plan through the Ontario government where municipalities hold the plan, but it actually is a community plan where we come together to look at our community and how we can make it a better place to live for everyone that's here through a collaborative effort.
Community Safety Manager Louisa Costanzo says to gather this information, they're hosting a series of free pop-up events across the city in August and September. The first was held on Wednesday and saw numerous local organizations engaging with community members. Costanzo notes the events are more casual, with activities, art, and music.
It's just basically a conversation. We're looking to engage with people, to have conversations, and spend that time with them. So anyone coming down would, get to chat to people and learn about some stuff in our community.
The city is also running an online survey on its Get Involved website, which will be available until December. Climate Action Specialist Danielle Tom notes this is the first time that community safety and well-being will take the environment into mind. She says it's been a long time coming.
There's been a lot of discussion on in upper levels of things, looking at the UN and places like that. If you think about Greta Thunberg, a lot of the Fridays for Future, the youth are thinking about it. We're out here thinking we have to live another 50 years and everyone's saying the sky is falling. It can be really anxiety inducing. So we're out here to make a plan moving forward as a community to be able to take us through these transitions.
More details on the pop-up events can be found on the city's website. The final plan will be presented to council in March. Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Ontario Provincial Police are investigating the cause of a fire that engulfed the youth centre in Wapakika First Nation. It's the same building where a man was recently killed by police.
There's the youth centre and that's on fire, so they torched it.
An OPP spokesperson says they were notified about the blaze around 11:30 Sunday night. Police confirmed the fire was at the youth center, which is also used as a courtroom for fly-in court proceedings in the remote First Nation. That's where 23-year-old Tyrese Roundsky was shot and killed by an officer on July 30th after Roundsky allegedly walked in and approached police while carrying a knife. OPP say no one was inside the building when the fire broke out, and no one was hurt in the blaze, which completely destroyed the facility. Boats, drones, and aircraft have been combing the northern Manitoba wilderness for a missing Norwegian hiker whose dog arrived at his destination without him. Manitoba RCMP say 29-year-old Stefan Schultevik was reported missing Friday after he didn't turn up in York Factory in northeastern Manitoba. Police say he's an experienced wilderness traveler and left Fort Severn, Ontario, July 25th. He arrived at Nanook Camp on Wednesday and told people at York Factory, 40 kilometers west, to expect him the following day. His dog showed up, but without him. Local guides have used a helicopter to search for him, and a man from Thunder Bay, David Matthews, has been following Schultevik's journey and has been trying to raise money to buy more fuel for the helicopter.
After the first day, there was 5 drums of jet fuel. They used 3 drums right off the bat as soon as they got there, and the pilot told me it's not going to be enough. I never asked for donations before, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to ask. You know, we need to get this done. We have to find this young man. We can't stop the search. We just have to keep going and going and going.
Conservation officers and RCMP have joined the search, but without success. Thunder Bay fire crews and OPP were dealing with a tractor-trailer fire on Highway 1117 near Maple Ward Road early this morning. Fortunately, no one was injured. The incident occurred shortly before 6:30. Police said the tires on the trailer, part of the unit, appeared to have caught on fire, and the flames then spread to the rest of the trailer. The 31-year-old driver from Manitoba was able to detach the tractor and drive it to safety. The OPP closed the highway in both directions while firefighters worked to extinguish the blaze. The highway remained reduced to 1 lane until early this afternoon. A Thunder Bay sailor who was racing around the world in a handmade sailboat is back in the city ahead of schedule. Dan Turk had to cut his epic adventure short due to health concerns. Lee Noonan has more.
It's a bittersweet return to Thunder Bay for Dan Turk, who was 5 months into a 13-month race around the world when he decided to pull out and head home to deal with a health issue.
It's good to be home with family and friends and be around familiar faces.
Turk was one of 15 competitors in the Mini Globe race, which saw sailors piloting identical handmade yachts through the Panama Canal, across the Pacific and Indian Oceans, and around the southern tip of Africa, then across the Atlantic to Antigua. Turk finished 3rd and then 5th in the early stages and got as far as Fiji, where he left behind his 19-foot boat, Little B.
It was a pretty sad moment, honestly, knowing that I wouldn't see her for a while. Yeah, it was pretty emotional, honestly, because, you know, it's a hand-built boat and I have so much time and energy invested in it, and just to get to the start line was a big deal, and then to have to leave it midway through the race was not what I expected to be doing.
Alone out on the ocean, there were difficult and frightening moments, including a 2.5-hour period when Turk lost control of Little B in 20 to 25-foot waves during a nighttime squall. But there were also moments of magic.
You know, a small boat from, it was built in my hometown, out on the ocean, and all of a sudden there's these crazy dolphins like right beside the boat, which is really, really cool. But the exhilarating moments were probably arriving in the Panama Canal, actually sailing through, and the ship traffic, and just that fact of, one of the busiest ports transiting in the same area as big ships was really, really cool. And then arriving in the Marquesas as well was another exhilarating thing, because it's all volcanic islands, and it was like Jurassic Park almost, arriving in those areas, especially after being at sea for 35 days.
Although the winds are more consistent and the swells are higher on the ocean, Turk said sailing here on Lake Superior was a good proving ground and prepared him well for the trip. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
Harbour Fest is set to make its return to Thunder Bay tomorrow evening. The downtown North Core event hasn't been held since the late 1990s and will feature plenty of nostalgic fun and entertainment.
Young people are enjoying this whole 90s vibe. Why don't we just lean fully into it and revive Harborfest itself with that true 90s feel?
In the lead up to the Harborfest grand return, organizers have been posting classic photos on social media which show the popular event organized by the former Heart of the Harbor BIA back in the 1980s and 90s. Tomorrow's throwback event is meant as a celebration of the newly revitalized Red River Road. Kara Pratt with the Waterfront District BIA says the festivities are happening between Court and St. Paul Streets with a ribbon cutting at 5:30, followed by events and entertainment until 11 p.m.
We can't wait to see everybody come down here and enjoy the festivities. This street took a while to get done, and we're excited to enjoy it the way it's meant to be enjoyed. 40 vendors, 3 bands, we have a fashion show, a dog contest, which is bringing back the old Harborfest contest. It's a free event for the public, which is fantastic. We want to make everything accessible. Come down here, enjoy the Waterfront District.
It's certainly exciting to see that fun event come back.